Hey legends, and welcome back to the Sim Racing channel where we're finally covering one of our favorite games. When you get the average racing fan to put together a short list of all the things they would want to see in an ideal utopian simulator, you would generally get a list that includes things like lots of licensed content, lots of car customization, good graphics, single-player campaign and easy multiplayer lobbies, and GT3, 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 and more GT3. Luckily for them, there are already a great many games which cover that criteria. Now, if you were to ask us sim racing nerds the same question, you would likely get a fairly different set of criteria, including things like chassis flex, tire deformation, accurate aerodynamics, detailed force feedback with no canned effects, and a super accurate damage model. While the latter may sound like a pipe dream that would need several MIT physicists working on it for decades before coming to fruition, little is it known that a game already exists which covers all of those criteria remarkably well. Enter BeamNG.drive. I first became aware of this game some years ago, where it was originally presented to me as a bit of a novelty car physics sandbox. Most people think of it as a one-trick gimmick game used solely for setting up fun car crashes. On the contrary, however, the awesome crashes are just an emergent side effect of the way the developers have gone about coding the physics engine. See, the cars consist entirely of beams and nodes, all of which are given physical properties. This means that deformable surface materials, chassis flex, and a number of other elements come about organically in this engine. The net effect? A game which renders remarkably accurate car handling with all the little X factors that are missing from your average empirically modeled racing sim. The byproduct of every single element of the car being physically modeled is that you get a tremendous feel for weight transfer. This alone makes BeamNG the most intuitive drifting simulator out there. Loading up an old 70s beast of a car with leaf spring suspension, a lead weight for an engine, and more power going to the rear wheels than could ever be transferred into grip leads to an experience that's so joyful it has to be driven to be believed. See, the great thing about this physics engine and its sandbox nature is that everything is completely modular. Sliding around too much? Well, just add a massive rear wing. Car banking and swaying a lot? Just add stiff coilover suspension. Not getting the times that you want? Well, just throw a few more cylinders into that engine. You can take a sporty turbocharged road car and turn it into a complete hill climb beast, or an old lowrider and turn it into a pimped out jumping machine with hydraulic suspension. The sky is quite literally the limit. While BeamNG.drive isn't technically a racing simulator, its open world sandbox nature allows the player to have their own fun. Whether that be playing tag with all of the cars in a small township or running away from the local police. This game is right at the cross-section of science and fun, sort of like the same compulsion if you ever wasted hours in school playing stair or truck dismount like I did. If you're looking for licensed content, strong multiplayer and a structured single-player campaign, well, this game is most certainly not for you. Having been in early access for several years and looking to stay there for several more, BeamNG.drive is more of a tech demo that gives us a glimpse into what may be one day. So if instead you're looking for a game which pushes the boundaries of how well we can render our understanding of the physical world into a virtual environment, one which is continually iterating, refining, and adding slews of new content, then BeamNG.drive may just be for you. While in some way it feels very strange to say this about a game at such an early stage of development, BeamNG.drive is presently tied with rFactor 2 as my favourite car simulator. No other game quite so accurately renders the sensations of all aspects of driving, whether it be off-roading at a snail's pace, leisurely driving down a highway, or racing on a track. You have but to look at the cars swaying and contorting under load to immediately understand that there is a tremendous amount going on under the hood of this game. At the very least, it's the only game which comes close to approximating how unforgiving taking damage can be. Hitting a bump or rock the wrong way can be all that's necessary to throw out a steering arm and either ruin your race or, at the very least, create a very interesting situation for you to nurse the car over the finish line. Now, a game like this is only as good as the data that's fed into it. As a result, there's a fairly wide variance across the content. Some of the earlier model cars drive a bit crudely, not all of the environments have been renovated with new assets, and the mission quality varies wildly. That's why I put the emphasis on creating your own fun. BeamNG.drive is the sort of game you invest time into to find the content which most resonates with you, then combine it all in emergent ways that no other game can match up to. Your own imagination and creativity is the only barrier to how much fun you can have with it. A footnote worth mentioning here is that you can use a utility called Automation to create cars for BeamNG from scratch, in case you find the dozens already on offer to be too limiting. While it's not going to help you train for the next endurance race at Sebring, it will render the essence of handling a car like few, if any, other games can. Many is the time I've lost hours, if not days, following a content rabbit hole, trying to work out which old road car can complete a mountain climb sprint track the fastest, or which heavily modded road car can best lap one of the included racetracks. Drive is not about licensed content or multiplayer lobbies. It's about laying out a vast swath of options in front of yourself, knowing there are countless permutations for you to indulge in. The challenge can be whatever you make it. I've spent many nights hot seating with friends, trying to see who can most effectively wrangle an ancient road car around some dirt backroad trail. Half the time, simply crossing the finish line with an intact car feels like enough of an accomplishment. The game is every bit as rewarding and unforgiving as only a true simulator can be. What you put in is what you get out. Hopefully this has given you an insight into something you may otherwise not have delved into. I wouldn't recommend a game such as this lightly, certainly understanding its highly developmental nature. Despite all the many things which BeamNG.drive lacks, the things it does to an unparalleled degree, and as a true sim racer, you owe it to yourself to include it in your collection. Be sure to hit the sub in order to stay up to date with future sim racing news and reviews. Any comment, share or like goes a long way towards spreading this content around and is greatly appreciated. Until next time, we'll see you guys later.